So this is day 23 of the videos I'm making about PTSD. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about getting support and what that's like. So the first thing is, if you're accessing support through the NHS, go and see your GP, let them know what's been going on. They can refer you onto the mental health services, who will do an assessment to work out the most useful, most appropriate level of support for you. If you decide that you want to use a private therapist, counsellor or psychologist, make sure that they are registered or accredited by a governing body and that they say that they specifically work with trauma and PTSD. In terms of treatment through the NHS, you are most likely to be offered trauma-focused CBT, which is cognitive behaviour therapy, or else EMDR, which is eye movement desensitisation and reprocessing. You may also get prescribed medication, but the evidence suggests that the main cause of change is the talking therapy that helps move the trauma from the present day into the past. And in terms of which therapy is better, really it's all about the relationship. So the relationship that you have with the therapist, that has repeatedly been shown to be the thing that has the biggest impact on outcomes. So if you have a therapist you get on with, that's brilliant. If you aren't gelling with your therapist, it's absolutely fine to ask for a new one. It's not going to get them into trouble. They're not going to be offended. We recognise that it's a relationship, it's a professional relationship, it's still a relationship, and not everyone gets on with everyone, and that's fine. So if you're not getting on with your therapist, or you just don't feel comfortable to talk about stuff, ask for a new one. That's far better than dropping out of therapy. Far better. In terms of therapy, although I have said, and I absolutely stand by, it is the relationship, one thing I wanted to just kind of share is one of the things I really like about EMDR, and I am a really big fan of EMDR, and part of that is because of how little you have to tell someone if you don't want to. So as a therapist, there's nothing I can't hear. However, some things feel just impossible to say. And with EMDR, the amount you have to say is really small in terms of saying what's happened. If it feels impossible to say, you don't have to give more than the broadest of broad brush strokes for us still to do really helpful, useful work. So that fear of how do I say it, how do I share it, what are they going to think? Actually, if you don't want to, you don't have to. That said, that relationship is the thing that should be key and lets you it creates that space to say those really hard things. And alongside that, I always expect that people will share things with me over time, and that I'm never going to get everything all at once. And actually, in the first session, I don't want everything. I just want almost getting to know them getting to know me. Lots of people really worry about, how am I going to say everything in that first session? You don't need to. So I just wanted to make sure I said that and offer that bit of reassurance. As therapists, we don't do judging. We're not going to judge you, and we're not going to expect you to say everything all at once. So you don't need to. So I think it's really important that people know that they're not going to have to recount everything in the first session, because that's absolutely not the case. So that's me for today. Tomorrow I'm going to talk a bit more about other types of support, so I'll see you tomorrow.